When you're staring at a stack of espresso machines online, the biggest fear is ending up with something that looks impressive on paper but turns out to be a daily frustration. I get that hesitation, especially when you're trying to decide whether a semi-professional home unit is worth the counter space, the electricity bill, and the learning curve. In this review, I'm going to walk through what actually matters when you plug in the Ascaso Dream PID, how it behaves in a real kitchen, and whether the price tag lines up with the experience you'll get. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the Dream isn't trying to be a commercial barista's machine. It's positioned as a home pro that lets you dial in a temperature and get consistent shots without a PhD in thermodynamics. The most noticeable feature is the PID temperature controller, which replaces the older analog thermostats you'll find on cheaper models. In practice, that means you set a target temperature, say 93°C, for a light roast, and the machine holds it within a couple of degrees, even as you pull a shot and the boiler pressure fluctuates. For someone who's been burned by machines that swing wildly between 85 and 96°C, that stability is a real time saver because you spend less time guessing and more time tasting. The setup is pretty straightforward if you've done any espresso hardware before. The Dream comes with a 58mm professional portafilter that has a walnut handle, something you'll notice right away because it feels more like a tool you'd see in a CAF than a kitchen gadget. You bolt the portafilter onto the group head, fill the water reservoir, plug it in, and let the machine run its preheat cycle. The preheat takes roughly 3 to 4 minutes, which is longer than a simple stovetop espresso maker but comparable to most dual-boiler home units. During that time, the PID display shows the current temperature, so you can watch it settle before you start grinding. One of the hidden trade-offs shows up after the first few weeks of use. The Dream uses an aluminum and stainless steel thermoblock instead of a traditional copper boiler. That design gives you a powerful steam wand and hot water function without the bulk of a full-size boiler, which is great for small kitchens. However, aluminum conducts heat quickly, so you'll notice the steam temperature can dip a bit when you're pulling a long cappuccino. In my own routine, a 5-second steam burst was perfectly silky, but anything longer required a brief pause to let the PID bring the temperature back up. It's not a deal breaker, but it does mean you have to be a little more attentive if you like really frothy milk drinks. Daily usability feels honest. The volumetric controls let you program how much water you want for a shot, 80 ml for a double, 150 milliliters for an Americano, so you can press a button and walk away while the machine does the math. That's handy when you're juggling a morning routine that includes toast, email, and a quick walk to the mailbox. The machine's water tank sits at the back, so you can refill it without pulling the unit off the countertop. The steam wand swivels and has a comfortable grip, and the hot water spout is large enough to fill a travel mug without splashing. Now, who should actually buy this? If you already own a decent grinder and are comfortable tamping, the Dream gives you a step up from entry-level machines that rely on manual temperature knobs. It's a solid middle ground for hobbyists who want repeatable espresso without the cost of a dual boiler that runs over $1,500. The PID and volumetric programming make it a good fit for people who appreciate a bit of automation but still want to control the grind size, DOS, and tamp pressure themselves. It's also appealing if you like the aesthetic of a CAF-style portafilter and want a machine that looks as serious as it performs. On the flip side, if you're a total beginner who has never tamped coffee before, the Dream might feel a little intimidating. The digital interface shows temperature and shot volume, but you still need to understand how to dial in extraction time and pressure. There's no built-in pressure gauge, so you're relying on the machine's internal sensors. For someone who just wants a quick cup of coffee without learning the nuances of espresso, a simpler pod-based system or a traditional pump espresso model with fewer programmable settings could be less stressful. Likewise, if you live in a tiny studio and the countertop real estate is at a premium, the Dream's footprint, roughly the size of a small microwave, might still be too large compared to a compact stovetop or capsule machine. Practical strengths start with temperature consistency, which translates directly into taste. When the temperature holds steady, you get a sweeter, more balanced shot that isn't dominated by bitterness caused by under-extraction. The volumetric controls also mean you can standardize recipes across multiple users, great for a household where one person prefers a ristretto and another likes a longer pull. The steam wand, while